rolling, go.
Hello, I am Alex Axup doing my final presentation, and here's the usual crowd with me this evening. Grandma and Grandpa, and Dad. And my speech is called Why Music Does Change Lives. Imagine walking into a place that you hope one day becomes a home. That's how I felt walking into the blues jam session at Kavanaugh's. I wanted to add this place to my list of music communities that I play in. What was difficult was feeling like a stranger here because I didn't really know anyone and I wasn't sure how the environment operated or how they communicated here. My speech is important because in any community, you're trying to feel like you belong there until it's a welcoming. And so once you get the ball rolling, it's a game changer because you feel comfortable there. So I will be analyzing the nonverbal communication within a blues jam session to show the details that hold music and a community together. I've been a musician since I was 9 years old. Playing with different ensembles, with different styles, age groups, and musicians. So it's important to establish a feel and get a pocket in those music groups is what I've learned. And so this carried over to this project. I also checked out multiple sources and my experience was helpful, but this specific environment tested my limits with applying it to a specific environment. First, I will describe how musicians interact with one another on stage. I will then examine how the audience and musicians interact together. And third, I will discuss the community and the feeling that is created here that is like a home. Finding a home in the community is important, but it starts off with the musicians first. Jamming has different methods of communication with the musicians on stage. So when I first got there, the first thing I noticed was the verbal cues that were given on stage. So I got on stage and they told me, all right, this is a slow blues in G. And it kind of like froze a little bit. But knowing that determines the style and everything that goes along with that. So I listened to the guitarist and mimic his guitar riff, or I listen to the drummer to get a feel for the style and play my part accordingly from that. And it's all improv on the spot. The drummer specifically talked about the importance of dynamics, and so that's all on the spot as well. And the drummer usually can cue that with a specific fill into a spot in the song, or he just kind of went, Alex, and then I knew that we were going to stop. The feel is what Jim, who was the MC, specifically talked about was the most important. So if it feels good, it doesn't matter if it's the right notes. And keeping that in mind is what was most important for me to get over my nerves, was to just have fun, because that's what they were all doing. The 12-bar blues progression is another indicator to help communicate. As long as you follow the form, you know where you are. Well, in one of the songs, it kind of strayed from that form. And so the guitarist used nonverbal communication to help me get back on track by kind of enunciating the downbeat for me so I could hear the chord stronger and know that was the start of the chord that we were on. Cara Mia, who is a piano professor at a music institute, wrote in 2010 that this unique expression in blues music is what makes blues special over the chords with the emotions that are tied to it. The interaction between the audience is also important for the musicians to engage with. And so without the audience, the musicians wouldn't be able to do what they do. So while you are on stage, musicians are looking for a reaction from the crowd, whether this is clapping at the end of a song, or it could be clapping after a guitar solo, which is also customary. And then even when I got off stage, I had at least 5 people shake my hand or give me a hug and tell me I did a great job. Jean is one of those specific people who thought I brought a really nice youthful vibe to the environment, being one of the youngest people there. And she just likes making friends of all ages and talking to new people. So she was one of those people that made the environment feel especially welcoming, in addition to the musicians I was starting to become friends with. But the best part is when people dance while you're playing, because then you can really see that they're having a good time. So all that interaction between musicians and audience is important. And that is all thanks to you guys. So any environment that you can see different ages, different races, different genders, everyone laughing and socializing together, having a good time, that's got to be a pretty good place. And that's how I felt here, because you could see the positive energy, you could feel that, and that was what created the overall welcoming, arching theme of this music place. And then even attendance is important, because if you start attending somewhat regularly, people actually miss you if you don't come. And then when you come back, they're even more excited to see you, which is what's happened with me, because I have returned since I went the first time, and that was really fun. And then Whitman in 2010, he wrote an article for Penn State talking about that importance of the right to belong in a community, and when you're invested in that community, the importance that goes along with it and how it feels good. I liked exploring this event and having the opportunity to play with really talented musicians. I'm going to make it my goal to attend twice a month from now on to keep engaging in that experience and activity. And then, so I have described how musicians interact with each other, how the musicians and the audience interact, as well as how all of this interaction creates a welcoming community specifically tied to music. So I've analyzed the nonverbal communication in a blues jam session environment. And so as the RME, which is the River Music Experience in Davenport, they say it best. They said, "Who says music doesn't change lives? This is one place where it's changed a ton of lives that all come to this area, and now mine, because I will add Kavanaugh's to my list of QC musical areas that I can be involved in. And I'm excited to see where this phase takes me. Thank you.